As the president of the Foreign Press Association, I recently had the great pleasure and honor to interview Ted Sorensen, the former special counsel and speechwriter to President John F. Kennedy. Ted had finally produced a book about his years with Kennedy at the White House called Counselor. And in front of 100 of our members, Ted told some wonderful stories of those years, about Kennedy himself, and notably about the 13 days of the Cuban Missile Crisis, where mankind itself stood on the brink of catastrophe.
Well, you know, I thought there are so many things that we could be talking about, Bay of Pigs, Berlin, but inevitably I came back to what you've described as the 13 most dangerous days in the history of mankind.
Not my description. That's what Arthur Schlesinger and most historians refer to, those 13 days when a misstep could have produced a nuclear exchange. A misstep on our part or the Soviets could have produced a nuclear exchange, beginning perhaps at the level of tactical nuclear weapons. But once you get on that ladder of escalation and you move up to strategic weapons and enough to obliterate the two major powers, but then by wind and water, the radioactive fallout from all those nuclear explosions is spread ultimately worldwide until planet Earth becomes what the scientists call a nuclear desert, where no species, animal, plant, or human, could grow.
Mm-hmm. Most people in this room, I think, are probably too young to remember that, but I remember it very well, living in London, working in Fleet Street.
Oh, well, I'll be interested to know what time you heard it, because it was given, Kennedy's speech was given on the night of October 22nd, 1962. Mm. We had only heard the word, he had only heard the word about the presence of those missiles in the morning of October 16. But I don't know how old you are, Alan, but you're enough younger than me that you
old enough, actually,
qualify that I sometimes, after I speak on the on the Cuban Missile Crisis, men about your age come up to me and thank me for making Kennedy's speech to the nation that night so scary that they were able to convince their college sweethearts it was their last night on Earth.
Yeah, that was a major benefit, I'm sure. But I'm not sure that we experienced that in the UK. Also, we got the speech much later because we didn't have late-night television then. Yes. But certainly it was a memorable time. I mean, when you look at that period in the White House, the evolution of it, first of all, the revelation of the photographs of the sites, that was the beginning of it, wasn't it?
With brilliant, you know, we all like to blame the CIA for lots of things. First of all, it was a CIA invention, the U-2 plane, which took those pictures at 50,000 feet, and it was the brilliance of the CIA photo interpreters and analysts who were able to detect in those scratchings on the ground the beginnings of these intermediate nuclear missile sites.